Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Jenny. Today's video is going to be another installment of my beginner series, and today I am going to be showing you how I put eyeshadow on my hooded eyes. So before we start, there are some things I just want to discuss. There are many different types of hooded eyes. Like for example, Nikki Tutorials has like kind of more of like a flattened hood, so she can easily do cut creases and change the shape of her eye. But where mine is kind of like fat, or something, like kind of puffs out a little bit up here, it is kind of difficult for me to get different types of eye looks. So that's why here on my channel you may notice that I do a lot of very similar eye looks using different colors and things like that. So this is kind of how I do it, what works best with my eye shape. So if you have similar shaped eyes where up here is kind of puffed out and then like droopy on the outer parts of the eyes, this video may be beneficial for you, learning tips and tricks on how to apply eyeshadow to this type of eye shape. If you are looking for more like cut creases and halo eyes and things like that, my friend Ailey here on YouTube does a really good job describing those, really good job of showing you how to do things like that. I will link her channel down below. She's really awesome. For today's tutorial, I am going to be doing a more neutral look just so it is easier to see how things are applied on my eyes. But you can easily exchange these shades and colors out with other colors, more colorful colors, deeper colors, things like that to get the desired eye look. This is mostly just to show you the techniques and a few of the tips that I use. This is kind of for eyeshadow in general as well, so just tips and tricks on how to make your eyeshadow last longer, things like that. But just in case you didn't really know how to apply for hooded eyes, you don't really know where to start, this may be helpful for you. So I am going to go ahead and zoom you in so we can go ahead and get started. Before I do my eyeshadow, I always do my eyebrows, whether I do my face first or last. I did not do my face today, but I did go ahead and put my eyebrows on because it does give me that judgment and that range that I can work with, so I won't end up taking my shadows up too high or anything. It gives you a good guide as to where you can put your eyeshadow. So I do recommend doing your eyebrows first before you do eyeshadow. And priming your eyes is very, very important because it is going to help your shadows last longer and look more vibrant throughout the day. If I do my face first, I will prime with concealer and then set the concealer down with a powder. But I did not do that today. I am going to prime my eyes with the Milani Shadow Primer. This is affordable at the drugstore and it's probably the best out there that I've used. It is very comparable to the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. I think it's a primer potion. But so I'm just going to take a little pea-sized amount and then rub it between my index fingers. And I'm going to apply this from lid all the way up to the brow bone. Smear it everywhere and make sure that you get it into the little creases of the inside of the lid as well, and then just pat it everywhere else. Today I'm going to be using the Milani Most Love Mattes palette. This is what it looks like. It is a very nice all matte palette and it is broken down into warm, cool, and neutral shadows. I am going to be focusing in on the neutral section of this palette today. I'm going to be taking a big kind of flat but fluffy brush. This is the Luxie 209 large shader brush. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and I'm going to take a mixture of this light shade and this neutrally cream shade, tapping off the excess, and I'm going to just start by patting that onto the primer so that it excuse me, it sets the primer down so that it's not tacky and that we can easily blend shadow on top of it. So I'm going to take it all over the eyelid and then up onto the brow bone as well, setting anywhere that we put that primer down. The brush I'm going to be using today for crease work is the Morphe M433, and crease work is where hooded eyes tend to get a little bit confusing because, for example, if I went straight into my actual crease of my eye and then looked straight ahead, all of that work that I did in my crease is going to be hidden by the hood of my eye. So what I'm going to do is take my brush and go into this neutral shade, the third one down in the neutral row. And what I'm going to do, and this helps if you have a mirror like straight ahead of you, I'm going to look into that mirror and I'm going to actually take the color onto the hood of my eye. Because if I didn't and I just put it directly in my actual crease, you will not be able to see the work and the shadow that I put on my eyes. So I'm just going to kind of map out where I want this shadow. And then I will also drag it down onto the outer V of my eye. because this is what works best for my personal eye shape. I tend to like my shadow to kind of like accentuate the almondy shape of my eye, so I do like the darker shades on the outer portion, but if you want a more rounded eye look, you can take it and do like you can take it and add more to the inner portion as well, but I don't personally like that on a day-to-day basis with my everyday eyeshadow looks. But so what I'm going to do now is just kind of put more of that shade down on the outer V of the eye, and then do windshield wiper motions and circular motions to blend that out up and blend it up into like the brow bone area without going too high, because you don't want to take it all the way to the brow bone. And if I feel like I need a little more, I will just look into the mirror again and then just apply it where I feel it necessary, and then blend again. So on the other eye, just to start, I'm going to kind of show you what that would look like if I just put it in the crease of my eye and nowhere else, because, yeah, because you can't see it. So you can see the difference between the one just in the crease and then the one above the crease as well, because if you just start putting it in the crease and you start blending and you do a beautiful look with your eye closed, the minute you open it, you're not going to be able to see it. So of course what you do to one eye, typically, you want to do to the other. So I am just going to mimic what I did before, taking it up onto the actual hood of my eye. What you want to do next is take a clean fluffy brush and just run that over the edges and just make sure the edges of your shadow are blended. So now what I like to do is give the outer V a little bit more depth and definition. So I am going to go into the warm side and go into that deeper shade in the very bottom corner. On a small brush, this is the Luxie 231 Small Tapered Blending. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to once again look in the mirror and I'm going to focus this on the very outer corner of my eye. But I don't want to blend it up as high as I did the lighter shade. And this is where you can start to play with some color. You could do like a burgundy or a purple or something, and then I'll just add a little bit of dimension and depth with some color without being like a completely blue, completely green eyeshadow look. You could do a green out here too. I've done that before. It's very pretty. And I just want to blend that basically into the actual crease of my eye. I don't really want to take that up very, very high. I want to keep it kind of contained into this outer corner of the eye. And then I will take that big fluffy brush again and then just blend everything together. And you can see how that just adds a nice amount of depth to this eye as opposed to this eye that I didn't do anything with. This is a really nice natural everyday kind of throw on some shadow and go look over here though. And I don't want to take this shadow past the center of my eye, because then it'll get a little more smoky and a little more dark, I guess, nighttime appropriate than I'm wanting right now. So this is all that I will be doing for the mattes today, but if you wanted to make it even a little bit deeper, a little bit darker, you can take that same small brush and then one of these two darker shades over here and add just a tiny bit to the outer corner, but I actually want to leave it like this. I want it to be a little more natural, a little bit more neutral, but you, do whatever you want to do. If you don't want to skip that step, that's fine. I mostly wanted to show you like the actual crease work. But I am going to apply some shimmers to my lid as well. These are ColourPop shimmers, and I am going to be taking my Luxie 239 Precision Shader Brush, and I'm going to go into the shade Ringer. Now, I typically don't use a shimmer glue on a day-to-day basis, but if you want yours to be super, super impactful, super bright shimmers, a shimmer glue patted on the inner half of the eye and then pat the shimmer on top and it'll be crazy impactful for the rest of the day. But so what I'm going to do is take that shader brush, and I'm not going to go past the center of my eye, so I'm going to put it basically everywhere on the actual lid where I did not put mattes, and I'm just going to lightly start by patting it on. And then I will start to kind of circular motion buff it into the lid, into the skin. And I do like to keep this on my actual lid because if I take it up too high, then it gets a little weird looking. So this is just going to bring some light to the eye area. Adding shimmers can really add some brightness to the eyes, but I did like the way that this looked just all matte. I'm actually going to take my finger and then just start to lightly pat that on top because I do want it to be a little bit more impactful. With that same brush and lightly going into the ColourPop shade Let Me Explain, I am just going to lightly dab that on top just to kind of add a little bit more brightness to that shade. So I almost never wear actual eyeliner. I feel like it looks way too harsh on my eyes. So what I like to do is to use powder as a liner. And so for that, I'm going into the Makeup Geek Single Shadow in Grunge on this teeny tiny little angled brush that I got in a, this is a Moda brush. It came in a set, and it is the angled eyeliner brush. It is a really nice tiny angle. So I'm just going to dip into that shade, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly line right as close as I can to the actual lash line. If you are scared of eyeliner but you want that lined look, this is a good way to do that without being super harsh. This is a really good way to kind of like ease yourself into eyeliner. And what works best for my eye shape, I'm going to stop where my actual lashes stop. I don't want to take it all the way in. That's going to help keep the inner half of the eyes bright and open as well. But so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of smudge it into the outer corner and take a flat shader brush. This is the Luxie 221 flat definer. I'm just going to kind of smoke and fluff this out in the outer corner. Here is the difference with the liner. I feel like it just adds a little bit of definition. The fluffiness in the out kind of pulls the eyes up, makes them look a little bit more wide, a little bit more awake. So I did go ahead and finish the rest of my face. I do have everything on now. And so what I'm going to do now is the lower lash line. So what I like to do for the lower lash line is take a domed pencil brush. This one is from the Wet n Wild holiday collection a year or two back, but any type of domed round small brush will work for this. And what I'm going to do is take that neutral brown, and what I'm going to do with that brown is I'm going to take it right as close as I can to the lash line, and I want to take this no further than the outside of my iris on the inner corner, and I'm just going to kind of blend it kind of haphazardly in a way. And then what I'll do is take a smaller fluffy blending brush and then just kind of blend all of the edges out. Going back in with that flat definer brush from Luxie, I am then going to go into a mixture of that warm and then that warm that we used earlier, and I'm going to take this as close as I possibly can to the very outer lower lashes. This is just going to add that definition that we used to pull this up. We're pulling it down, so it's going to make it like a wide eye effect, and I'm just going to put that right on the very outer corners of the eyes. So the final step for any eye look is to highlight the inner corners of the eyes, and you can highlight the brow bones if you like. I don't really like to do that. I don't like the way that looks on me personally. But so with this tiny little detail brush, this is by EcoTools. It came in a set forever ago. I'm not even sure that they make it anymore, but any tiny little precise brush. So I am going to go back into the Let Me Explain shade by ColourPop, and I am just going to put this on the very inner portion of the eyes. This is going to help open and brighten the inner corners of the eyes that can tend to be a little bit dark. That's just where shadows naturally hide on the inner corners of the eyes. And so this is just going to brighten that area up, make you look a little bit more wide-eyed and bushy-tailed. What the heck? I'll take just a tiny bit to the brow bones as well. Just right in the arch of your brow is where you will put this. This is just going to help kind of lift the eyes a little bit. So this completes the eye look, and I am going to go ahead and add mascara off camera. So this is the finished eye look. This is generally the typical day-to-day kind of eye look that I do every day. It really works for my eye shape. Of course, this is not necessarily going to work for every single eye shape and every form of hooded eye, because there are like so many different types of hooded eye. But I hope that these tips and tricks kind of helped you if you were kind of lost on where to start, what to do. I really hope that you found these tips of mine helpful, and I really hope that they can be of use to you in the future. What are some more kind of tips and tricks, beginner type videos you would like to see from me? Let me know in the comments below and I will add them to the list. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found it helpful and I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you would like to subscribe, please feel free, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys!